Shall begin with a statement that deals with the welfare of retirees. It is nonsensical, Mr. Speaker. You find teachers who work for over 20 years. They retire when they are at the age of 60. In fact, I think it's about time that we reevaluate this issue of retirement. Why do you need to retire when your brain is still working? You need to continue. We just need to be a bit creative on how we deal with these issues. My own sister called me last week, told me that she retired in 2022, and until today, she has not been able to receive her pension. Mr. Speaker, this House has an opportunity now to be able to reevaluate the role and functions of these retirement benefit firms. We have companies like Lab Trust. We have companies like Lab Fund. We have retirement schemes. And when you look at what their core business is right now, is to invest in real estate. They are building houses all over. They are engaging in deals with county governments where they are now saying, if county government, you have not paid us because this House has negated his role of protecting Kenyans by ensuring that any piece of legislation we draft here includes huge penalties, interest. I think it's about time that we now revisit those retirement benefits acts and amend them so that when these companies like Lab Fund and Lab Trust are owed by county governments the principal amount, if it is 20 million, it is easier for county governments to be able to pay them. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to request the committee, while investigating the issue raised by the Senator for Mombasa County, to consider looking at the entire Retirement Benefits Acts to see how we can be able to do away with these interest, with these penalties, and also to put a period of time when you retire, you should be able to get your benefits. There's no reason why, when you leave, you now start coming to Parliament to beg the parliamentary office to pay you your pension or your gratuity. This is something which should be automatic. That money is being used to invest. Right now, Mr. Speaker, the richest farms in these countries include Lab Fund and Lab Trust. Why should they be, carrying billions and billions of shillings, yet they cannot pay teachers? Now, Mr. Speaker, for a teacher to be able to get their benefits, they have to call TSC. TSC will spend hours going through their files, and then finally, when the file is complete, it is forwarded to Treasury. Last week, Mr. Speaker, I had to call the head of accounting in Treasury to follow up on one teacher to say, why haven't you paid her dues? Why are they keeping all those files? You worked. When you are working, you are paying. This is your money, which was being deducted for you. So, Mr. Speaker, in fact, now the law should be recrafted in a way that if Treasury delays in paying the retirees their benefits or their pension, they should start paying interest. And since Lab Fund and Lab Trust are spending the money that they are collecting from these county governments or from civil servants in investments, we should now qualify those investments and say, if I'm retiring and you are paying me this, how much have you made from the investments that you've invested in? This money should not just be sweet for these entities, and it is not sweet for the people who contributed to it. So, Mr. Speaker, I really would like to request that committee to take this matter very seriously and reopen the whole debate on these pension schemes. Why should I be contributing to a pension, yet when I retire, I don't get my money? Should I not just go to a bank account and open a fixed deposit account or an escrow account where I can just be putting money so that at the time when I retire, I can be able to get that money? Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to comment on the statement raised by Senator Onyonka, where he's seeking clarification on the issue of logging.
Senator Kina, but remember there was an agreement of 2 minutes per senator making a comment.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Please.
Mr. Speaker, I wish Senator Onyonka was here because on this statement I wanted some clarity. Because he said forest in Masai Mara. I don't know whether inside the park there's any logging that is taking place there. So I'd like that clarity made. Because if it is forest in Narrow County, it would make sense. Masai Mara is just a region You know, it's inside the park, and inside the park there is no logging. If there is logging, I would really like to know. But it will be important for the committee, while investigating this matter, to appraise the House on what efforts, the reforestation efforts that are taking place. We see a lot of cabinet secretaries flying to go and plant 2 trees. They probably spend about $1 million shillings to go and plant a tree. You know, that 1 million shillings, they could buy trees which are sold for 20 shillings, and they could buy many of them. So let us be realistic. You know, and actually, they are, in fact, if you look at the carbon print or footprint, which is being created by these choppers that the cabinet secretaries are using, is worse than even the deforestation. So really, we just need to look at those things and become very serious. So I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next.
Mr. Speaker, I have a comment on 2 issues quickly, because I know we have 2 minutes. One is on this issue of Somalia and access to that market by the Miraa growing farmers, predominantly from Meru and the neighboring counties. Mr. Speaker, I cannot understand